Lucille Clifton was an amazing Black woman poet. She died, I think, in like 1990 something. Just an extraordinary woman. And this is my favorite poem of her. If you Google it, you can see her performing it, and it is amazing. And so I took the title from her poem, and I'll start with reading the poem, which is my epigraph. And I did get permission from her estate, just so you know. And her poem is called, "Won't You Celebrate With Me?" Won't you celebrate with me what I have shaped into a kind of life? I had no model. Born in Babylon, both non-white and woman, what did I see to be except myself? I made it up here on this bridge between starshine and clay. My one hand holding tight my other hand. Come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. Right? So, I don't know, I think that's a rallying cry for Black womanhood. All right? Every day something has tried to kill me and has failed. That's the celebration. Yes. So, I chose that as the title for my latest collection of essays. I am a writer. I've been writing for many years. I've published 3 novels and 4 collections of essays and some ghostwritten books with Malcolm X's daughter and the president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, et cetera, et cetera. But this collection, I didn't set out to write it. I wrote a couple of essays here and there for various things, and they were published in various places, the Washington Post, other places, and then my editor said, why don't we pull them together into a collection? So I'm just going to read from maybe 2 of them, a bit, not the whole things. The one that really sparked the collection, I wrote, let me see. It was published and then it was republished in the Washington Post. It's called it was written after January 6th, 2016. What was 2020? 2020? 2021. Yes. And it's called On White Violence, Black Survival, and Learning to Shoot. I'm just going to read a bit. On the outside, the Western Shooters Club is pretty much what I expected. A graceless gray warehouse tucked off the highway behind a gas station in a dumpy part of town. Inside, however, the club is surprisingly clubby. Deep leather chairs, slate gray floors, a wine bar glowing warmly in the incandescent light. There is a vending machine that dispenses ammunition, the first I have ever seen, and tucked unobtrusively in a corner, and a beautiful blue globe gleaming on the end table. This is the Cadillac of gun clubs, brags Jack, our instructor. There isn't, he says, another like it in Massachusetts. Jack is small-statured, silver-haired, and non-posturing, a man who does not strike me as a cop. This is a relief. When searching for a basic firearms safety class, I had purposely avoided the one closest to our house because it was also near the state police headquarters. Its website bragged that most of the instructors were police officers. Once the rest of the group has arrived, Jack introduces himself. NRA certified shooting enthusiast, many years of teaching experience. I raise an eyebrow. I'm going to skip some of this. Thanks to the pandemic, the class is small. Just 7 students. In addition to my husband and myself, a married couple. There's a married couple from Brookline in their 30s, 2 young brothers barely out of their teens, and a thin young man who sits alone at the end of the table, dressed head to toe in black, including a hoodie. Mrs. Brookline is Asian, I am black, everyone else, including my husband, is white. The basic firearms safety course is approved by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and requires only 4 hours of instruction. By comparison, a motorcycle license, which I obtained last year, I did, at 55, I got my motorcycle license, requires 15 hours of instruction over the course of 2 days, the bulk of which is operating the bike itself. The Commonwealth does not require you to actually shoot a gun, to be part of its base to obtain a firearms license. In Massachusetts, you can get a license to carry a gun without ever touching a weapon, much less shooting one. Still, Jack assures us that unlike some other inferior courses, ours will include the chance to actually shoot. I want this class to be fun, he says. For the second time, I'm skipping over some of this, for somehow the reason the word fun startles me, given the context. I did not come to class about weapons expecting to have fun. Jack asks us to go around the tables and introduce ourselves, giving our history with firearms and our reason for taking the course. Unexpectedly, he begins with me. The first part of the assignment is easy. I have never fired a gun, never held one, never really wanted to do so. No paintballs or air rifles, no water pistols since I was 9 or 10. My family includes many veterans and at least one member of law enforcement. So legal gun ownership is not beyond my experience. But knowing there's a gun in the house has always made me feel less safe, not more. Statistics back me up on this, but even if they didn't, it wouldn't matter, since feelings are what we are talking about. All safety is an illusion, said James Baldwin. It's just a matter of which illusion you pick. My feelings about guns are mostly, I have to admit, negative, a fact that caused me to stumble on the first part of the assignment. The whole class waits while my mind races for a response. In truth, I am reluctant to say what has brought me to this place on a bitter January morning, reluctant to tell a room full of white people why a progressive, NRA-hating, middle-aged black woman has decided this late in life to get a gun. So the rest of the essay is about why I decided to get a gun. And hint, it had to do with January 6th. I will leave that there and move on to a part of a different essay that is completely different, that is about my mother. My mother grew up in Mississippi, Tupelo and Olive Branch, and moved to Memphis, and now lives in California with my sister. She's 88, she has dementia. And I wrote this 2 years ago when her dementia was just starting to take hold. And it's called, this is the title essay, Every Day Something Has Tried to Kill Me and Has Failed. And it's about my mother, and it's about aging, and it's about coming to acceptance about these things. So I will just read the opening. Don't get old, my mother says, as I dry her back. It's not the first time she has issued this warning, not even the first time today. Rolling out of bed to take her morning medications, she reached for her cane, pushed herself to her feet, gave a little smile, and said, don't get old. Helping her on with her shirt, I remind my mother that I'm already past 50 and well along the path to no longer being young. Old age is coming for me, sooner than I would like to consider, sooner than either one of us would like to believe. She looks startled at this reminder. How is it possible for her to have a child over the age of 50, already nearing retirement? How is it possible to have lived so long? She never expected to live this long. Don't get old, my mother says. Sometimes, making my voice high and light, I leap in to finish her thought. It's not for wimps, huh? It's not for wimps, my mother confirms. By wimp, she means someone who lacks the strength to do the tough, unpleasant job at hand. Strength of that kind is not a thing my mother has ever lacked, having been handed so many tough and unpleasant jobs during her life, not the least of which was raising 5 children all alone. My mother is the toughest person I have ever known in my life, and also the most fragile, unbreakable, but also easily fractured, prone to chips and dents and cracks. I keep trying to find the right metaphor for my mother, a way of capturing a woman who is the opposite of those white Southern women they call steel magnolias. My mother is one of those black Southern women who grew armor in order to survive a hostile world, but remained inside as fragile as a robin's egg. A shelter built of crepe paper, a tank of woven spider webs, a fortress spun of glass, something like that. We finish her shower, an exhausting 15 minutes for her, no pleasure, all chore. She prefers baths, but climbing in and out of the tub is dangerous. I rinse out the stall while she shuffles down the hall to put her dirty clothes in the washing machine. I could do this for her, but it is important that she contribute to the running of the household, that she continue to do things for herself. When I first arrived, visiting after more than a year away due to COVID, I tried to do everything, running around the house in a frenzy, waiting on her hand and foot until she said, "I feel so useless." And I stopped. I do not visit enough. My mother lives with my sister on the other side of the country, on the other side of the continent. I take off over the Atlantic and I land over the Pacific and I drive a rental car to my sister's house. There are 5 of us, 4 girls and 1 boy, but my sister has taken on the burden of caring for our mother alone. The rest of us try to help when and how we can, but it is inadequate. It is all inadequate. Don't get old. I make lunch, yogurt for me, turkey sandwich for my mother, strips of meat on bread as soft and white as drifts of snow. The kind of bread I grew up eating and now, in my East Coast arrogance, disdain. My mother loves it still. And anyway, her teeth will not accommodate the hearty multigrain or the crusty baguette that I prefer now. Because in America, poor people don't deserve dental care, and she never had any. To the tray, I add a salad, drinks from the Thousand Island dressings. Yes, sir. And some chunks, or ma'am, I'm sorry, I don't know which one. Right? Some chunks of watermelon and cantaloupe, a Snapple iced tea. She takes her noontime pills. She has already taken a handful of other meds after breakfast and will take another handful before bed. More pills in one day than I take in months. We watch The People's Court, or more likely Judge Judy, shows which make me feel simultaneously better about my own life and despair for humanity. What I know about Judge Judy is that she's been on the show forever, she's made a ton of movies, and she likes to berate people, and that she thinks herself very tough and very discerning and very smart, which compared to the people who come before her in her courtroom, she might be. It's funny how people often confuse being in the right place at the right time with deserving what they have lucked into. But I will give Judy this. She has spawned an infestation of imitators. Every time I visit my mother, which is the only time I have time to watch daytime television, I discover another court show. Judge Mathis, Judge Faith, Judge Jeannie. Like, who are these people? Not to mention divorce court, and most astonishingly, paternity court. How is this a show? Who's going on paternity court? Okay. What? Everything about these shows seems, I must admit, kind of sad to me. A parade of accusation and humiliation and delusion. Especially delusion. People lying to others and time after relentless time, lying to themselves. When I ask my mother why she likes these shows, she shrugs and laughs. The perfect response. I'm almost done. Put on Dr. Pimple Popper, she says. Meaning, if you think that's something, watch this. Dr. Pimple Popper, which I have never seen, and which I cannot actually believe exists, is a reality show in which a very pretty young Asian dermatologist meets people with all kinds of horrible, disfiguring skin conditions, talks gently to them about the impact of these hideous growths on their lives and self-esteem, and then proceeds to, yes, pop the pimple on TV, or pare the keloid, or surgically remove the lymphoma the size of a tennis ball that's hanging from the inside of their leg. All of this on camera with blood and pus and stitches and all. I am amazed at this and sickened, but my mother watches with fascination. Isn't that amazing, she says? Don't you think that's interesting? She wanted, at one time, to be a nurse. When the pimple show is over, I dig out my checkerboard from the cabinet. The last time I visited, I tried to get my mother interested in puzzles and Sudoku and embroidery, no dice. I long ago gave up trying to interest her in reading, gave up trying to understand why our childhood home was filled with books, but she never opened them. I opened them. They set me on my path. My sister has also given up on trying to get our mother to write her memoir. I wouldn't want to depress people, my mother says when I ask again. 6 months later, when I visit again, she will have forgotten that she was opposed. I was going to write a book about my life, but I can't remember it, she says. My memory is so bad. She wanted, at one time, to be a writer. She says yes to the checkers, mostly to shut me up. I planned to go easy on her, but after listening to my refresher of the rules, my mother quickly captured half my men, lands 3 kings, then captures the rest of the pieces. I am surprised and delighted, and a little chagrined, the competitive instinct being what it is. It's like the first time your child beats you in something, fair and square. I ask if she wants to play again. She says, no. I'm trying to remember what I did with all my time, she says. What do you mean? I didn't play checkers, never liked to play card games. I was not a big reader. I'm trying to remember what I did with all my time. You worked, I said. You worked hard and you took care of us. She nods. Working outside the house or working inside the house, no time for myself. Rocking herself to her feet the way the physical therapist taught her, my mother grabs her canes and heads upstairs to take a nap. So I will stop there. So that's it. I have essays on here on kindness, on innocence, on throwing a party, I have a wide range of interests and I write about everything I'm interested in. So I could keep reading, but let's talk.
I had a comment when you said that your mom said something about getting old.
Don't get old. Mm-hmm.
I took care of my mom. I took care of my mom for, I think, about 3 years. And she started with dementia, but she progressed more into complete dementia. And she looked at me one day and said, I never want you to have to do this. That just... I said, my mom, I took care of my mom for about 3 or 4 years. The same thing. My siblings were away, and so I was the one the primary caregiver, and I had other caregivers coming in. And one day she looked at me and said, I never wanted you to have to go through this. And it just tore me up. I said, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. To let her feel comfortable that, you're where you are, but this is my job. This is what I'm put here to do, is to take care of you. So don't feel that way. But it did something to me that she, in that moment, even with the dementia, she was able to see that I never want my child to have to take care of me, to be in this position that the role is reversed. I'm taking care of her instead of she taking care of me. I just share that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's I'm sure everybody has their experience. I think it was Jimmy Carter's wife who said everybody you'll either be a caretaker or need caretaking, or both, right? Like that's right.
Can I say something? So, my mother, she's 67. She had dementia and was well into it, so I had to take over because she couldn't cook, she couldn't do her clothes, and so I stayed with her for about 1.5 years before we moved to my sister's. So she would say, you shouldn't, I never wanted you to have to do, you shouldn't, you're wrong, da-da-da. And here's what I would say to her. Well, you changed my diapers when they needed to be changed, and my knees got skint. So it was my job. It's an honor. It's an honor. But it was fun to be there too, because my lawyer, she had some stories. And don't ever get involved in a bingo game at an assisted living facility. I'm telling you what, that's serious business, because they give out candy, and that is stuff. They will be cheating on it. It is. They'll take you down.
That's great. Yes. Yeah. I think that's wonderful to hear all those stories. I mean, I think we all have them, or we will have them, and I, that's what I try to do, is write about them. Aging is real. Taking care of aging parents is real. It is an honor. It is a pleasure, and it's also hard. Let's be honest. And I try to be honest about it. It's hard. I'm honest in here. I talk about the struggles with it. My sister is the primary caretaker. It's a burden. I go out whenever I can. I've been out 5 times since January, just because I'm on sabbatical. But when I'm teaching, I can't go, and it's hard. right? And quite frankly, I think it's harder than it needs to be in this society, but let's not go there, right? Like we could structure our society so that it's not on one person, right? And I think that's unfortunate because we will all be in that position. Yes, and we will need to be in that position. And I worry about my children, right? Like I don't want them to have to do it because I know how hard it is. It's tough.
Green says if everyone's done eating, they're going to start breaking down.
Well, my story is pretty much very similar to the other people that have shared. My mom decided to rest at 102, and so basically I left Atlanta almost 20 years ago and came home to be around her, and her thing was every night, I'm not telling you to go home, but you got to go somewhere, because her thing had to do with also being independent. But in saying all of that, a friend of mine recently asked me, you got to get out. You got to do some things. Let me back up a little bit. I'm retired. Woohoo! I'm retired and retired educator plus banker. I was working since I was 13 years old. And I worked. I was out of the house every single day. Working, never really having the time to smell the flowers. Had a beautiful home, but never really had time to sit in my most favorite chair. And so now I'm good. I wake up in the morning and I don't have to go anywhere. I don't even know what day it is sometimes. Okay? So I don't need really anything because this is my grace right here because my mom was here until 102. And so this is my time to seriously just figure me out. Who am I? I don't need to travel right now. I don't need to do the dinners or the lunches or the breakfasts or whatever. I love it with my family because my two grandsons and my daughter, we all live together. I love at 8:30 in the morning, they are all gone. Okay, so I can do whatever I want to do in that space and just be me. And I'm good. I'm good. I really am. So don't worry about me. I am so at peace. I can't even decide whether I want to make extra money or not. I'm being offered positions. It's like, no, So yeah, so that's pretty much my piece in reference to all of this. And I love your writing.
I appreciate that. My mother is 88 and she had colon cancer, high blood pressure, diabetes, and she's still going. So, she used to say, I'm a little piece of leather, but I'm well put together. I don't know if that's a Southern. Have y'all heard that? Is that a Southern? Yeah. I'm a little piece of leather, but I'm well put together. So she's tough. So, yes. I can read a little bit more. You can ask me questions about reading, about writing, about...
Carrie had a question.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I just wanted to know where was the school?
Oh, yeah. My sister lives in California. My sister is amazing. She became she was in the Army. She retired as a lieutenant colonel, and then she was the head of Health and Human Services for Marin County in California, and she retired from that because she done too, and she takes care of my mother, and we help when we can. But we're all spread out. We're all over the country. I'm in Boston. Don't ask me why. Okay, I love Boston. I've been there 25 years, but I have mixed feelings about it. Yeah. It's a mixed feelings. No offense, B. Yeah, that's where we met. We met in Boston. So I'm in Boston, and I love it. My children grew up there, and they call it home. And my family, I've established roots. But I'm from the South, so Boston was an adjustment for sure. Yes. Yes.
Can you
I'll
give her
say.
the mic?
Yeah, we can hear.
No, you got to repeat it because I know.
Oh.
But I remember about
feeling safe.
James Baldwin is my hero. I mean, I love him. I'm a scholar. I've read him. I've studied him. I've written books on him. I wrote a book about James Baldwin. I think he was a prophet, and he spoke a lot of truth. And I think if this country had listened to James Baldwin, we'd be in a different place. But also, more than that, he was an artist. He believed in humanity and people, and he talked about the delusions that we fall in order to avoid the hard truths. And if we could wrestle with those truths, we would be bigger people and be more expansive. And one of them is the illusion of safety. So what he said is all safety is an illusion. All safety is an illusion. And in trying to maintain that illusion, you create things that, like you live in communities or you build school, you create this illusion. There is no such thing as safety when you're a human. And if you can accept that, then you can live a bigger, more open life. Does that make sense?
It does, and especially as it relates to the time we're in.
Yes, exactly.
Where everything's being eroded and what you
The illusion of safety that you were holding on to,
right.
people are feeling the rug being pulled from under them. But how do you maintain that sense of safety no matter what?
Right.
Because not only is it an illusion, it's delusional, and on all of these things, and then when you talked about January 6th, now we have the desire to own guns. Those of us that were feeling safe or not feeling like you necessarily had to have a gun now, you got to get yourself a gun. Get yourself a gun.
Right, and yes, trying to maintain the illusion of safety keeps us from building a society that would capture more of us, right? Like if the illusion of safety what makes us turn on each other. You're the problem. Those people are the problem. Those people are the enemy. Those people are the reason I don't have what I want. It counterintuitively makes us less safe. Instead of we accept the fact that life is fragile and unpredictable. And what we do is we hold on to each other. That's how you create community. That's how you create safety. Not trying to put myself and my family and take care of myself and get a gun, although I did get one. And I am a northern Boston progressive, not a big NRA. I don't know. I'm not, no offense if anybody's NRA, but I kind of hate the NRA, right? So like for me to get a gun is a failure of our society, quite frankly. That I feel like I have to arm myself is a condemnation. Because I don't believe in guns, but I got one. I have many books. I didn't bring them because somebody didn't give me a lot ahead of time, but I have 3 novels, and I have this collection, which is my most recent. I have this book about James Baldwin and about his novel, Another Country. And then I have this book called Womanish. How many? I know somebody knows here the expression womanish.
Oh, we all know it.
What does womanish mean? What does womanish mean? You acting grown, right? Yeah, you getting womanish. It's not right? It's we had it in Memphis growing up too, so it's a Southern black saying, right? I think Alice Walker actually came up with a official I think I used it, right, like as my epitaph. Let me see if I can find it. She created a dictionary definition because she grew up in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
And so she grew up and she said, womanish, opposite of girlish, i.e. frivolous, irresponsible, not serious. A black feminist or feminist of color, from the black folk expression of mothers to female children, you acting womanish, i.e. like a woman. Usually referring to outrageous, audacious, courageous, or willful behavior. Wanting to know more and in greater depth that is considered good for you. Interested in grown-up doings. Acting grown up, being grown up. Interchangeable with another black folk expression, oh, you trying to be grown. Responsible, in charge, serious. That's how Alice Walker defined womanish, and I like that, right? Right? You think you're somebody. Well, yeah, I actually do. Okay.
I wanted to know if you could talk about being a ghostwriter and your experiences, like as a ghostwriter. And are you going to be like ghost writing anybody else's book?
Sure. Oh, really? Wow. President, really? Wow. Oh, yes. Oh, that's amazing. She worked with Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who was the first female president of Liberia, the first female president of a country in Africa, won the Nobel Prize. And the book got great reviews. I wrote it. And I wrote it. I mean, like, I wrote it.
What's the name of it?
It's called I'm sorry, that's Growing Up X. It's called This Child Shall Be Great. I suggested the title, right?
I love that title.
Yeah, it is great. When she was young, she told me a story. When she was young, she's audacious, right? Just very courageous. And when she was young, growing up in Liberia, and she climbed up to the top of the roof and jumped off because she wanted to see if she could fly, and she hurt herself. And when the healer came to the house, and because the parents called the healer to take care of her, and their parents were like, oh, are you worried about it? And they said, don't worry about this one. This child shall be great. And so that's where the title came from. How I connected it, yes. God is good. I mean, the first ghostwriting I did was for Ilyasa Shabazz, who is one of the daughters of Malcolm X. And it was just that I had published my first novel, Taming It Down, and the editor who bought it to put it out in paperback was also was publishing Ilyasa's book. And she asked me, Ilyasa needs some help writing. I mean, writing's a real job, y'all. A lot of folks think it ain't, but it is. I used to sometimes say, people think that just because everybody can write, they think everybody can write, but everybody can't write. Right? Right. So she just happened to know me, and she was publishing my work, so she liked my work, and she said, would you like to try this? I had never ghostwritten anybody else, and so I said, of course, the daughter of Malcolm X, of course, I would be honored. And so I worked with Ilyasa, and I did that book. And then it's like everything else in the world. Once you get in the circle, you in the circle. So then people started asking me. So then, when Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was writing her book, she's running the country. She don't have time to write her own book. I mean, let's be honest. And so she needed a ghostwriter. There's a difference between co-writing with Ilyasa Shabazz. I co-wrote it, meaning I got credit. Technically, with Ellen Johnson's book, it's ghostwriting, so only her name is on the cover. But I wrote it. It's ghostwriting. You get paid more for ghostwriting, so it's okay, right? Your name is not on the book, but it's okay. Let me hear you, right? It's mine. I know I did it. When the review came out in the New York Times, said this book is beautifully written. I was okay with that because I was sitting on the check, right? So that's why it's called ghostwriting. You're a ghost. You're not visible. But I got to go to Liberia twice, right? They flew me over there. I stayed in the mansion with her, and spent every day. I would meet with her after she's going out running the country, and she would come back in the evening. We'd have dinner, and I would sit and interview with her. I brought my tape recorder, got down all the stories. I did very much research in the archives there. Archives here at Harvard, at the UN, and then I, the challenge with ghostwriting is that you have to try to tell it through their voice. It's not your voice. It's not your story. So I think I have a pretty distinctive voice, but the challenge is not to tell it through my voice, but that's why you have to spend time with her, and that's why you have to record it. So I would just listen to her talking over and over and over and over again and try to tell it in her voice. And it's a skill. And I have started projects with other people. I will tell you, I was in the finalists to do Michelle Obama's book, but I didn't make it. But I met her, which was wonderful. They brought me down to DC. I met her, and she was lovely. But then she picked somebody else. That's okay. And it wasn't meant to be. That's okay. And
At that time.
What? At that time. And, you know, same with a certain football player who was going to do a book and then end up doing a television show anyway of his life. A certain football player who took a knee and then was rummed out of the NFL. So I got to meet him. And I got a kill fee for that, so that's okay too. So it's pretty good. I haven't done anything recently because it does take away from your work. So it's a balance, right? Once you get in it, they do call you, which is a blessing. There aren't very many black women who do it. It's a very lucrative field, and it's closed. And of course, they only call me for black folks. I could ghostwrite a white person, but they never asked me that, but that's okay. So they asked me for a couple other people. There's a woman who's what's the Peloton fitness instructor? I didn't know her. I didn't want to do it. She's a black woman who is a Peloton fitness thing. I don't do those kind of things. I don't know what that is. You know how they're like rock stars. She did the book came out. Maybe. I don't know. She was lovely. I met her, but I was like, I want to work on my own work. So right now I'm not doing anybody, but it is a nice way to pay. When I teach my students, I say, this is a lane if you could try to get into it. So I do try to hook up other, especially black women.
I have a question about what you were saying today about AI and how there's a big lawsuit against the AI companies. Because I feel like, I mean, AI has become like, you know, people go to it as a resource to use, but we don't know where this information is coming from. I didn't know until today. Can you?
Yeah, I won't. We'll be here all night if I start talking about AI, but because I have a problem with it, artificial intelligence. And just so you know, if you use ChatGPT, have y'all used it? Okay, good. Don't use it. But it's here. It's the future. You know what it is, right? It's you can tell ChatGPT, write me a paper, and students are doing it. Unfortunately, right? Write me a paper about David Walker and his, blah blah blah, and they use it. Just one sec. Just a sec. And so what I was telling Bridget today is, I have a problem with that because it's students aren't learning how to think and how to write. They're relying on the machine. And it's also writing. I believe passionately in writer. Obviously I am, because writing is thinking, right? So it's not just the product. It's, I had to, that's like a year. Each one of the books is like a year at least worth of work, because I'm thinking and considering and exploring and researching and, So ChatGPT, you can crank it out in literally 5 minutes. And so what are you missing? What are you losing? So at any rate, the other problem I have with AI that I was telling her is, where do you think this stuff came from? It came from the work of people. They took the work of people like me and fed it to these machines without compensation, where I'm part of a class action lawsuit by the Authors Guild against the makers of ChatGPT. So it's not original, it's theft. And it's my life's work. It's my blood, sweat, and tears. So when you use ChatGPT, just think about that. Is what all I'm saying. But yeah, it didn't come out of nowhere. They have to train these intelligences on something, and what they're training them on is, and not just mine. They took all the work that's in what do you call it when work goes out of copyright, right? So they put in Mark Twain and Frederick Douglass, and they put in everybody's work, and then they put in a lot of contemporary work, and the machine uses that to do what it's doing. So that's, yeah. Okay, but yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Bill Green, and my wife Sarah. It's always a pleasure when we all can come together and break bread together and share knowledge. It's all about trying to help one another and pass on our heritage. And the only way we can do it is being able to share it and being able to talk about it. It could always be some disagreeable here and there, but we still can talk and make that happen. More now than ever. That everybody needs to come together, because when we leave it, we won't have it. I ain't never known nobody, when the hearse driving you and taking you along, I ain't never known nothing at school but you. So, it makes me so proud when when people could come together and enjoy themselves and being able to break bread together, and being able to share love. But it make me feel so good because that's all it is for me right now. Is to pass on to the younger ones, the younger generation, and trying to help them along. Because that's all I got to look for right now to do that. And so I appreciate y'all all coming and support us. And support the cause and support the family. So I appreciate it, and I thank you. I do want some more. If y'all want some more,
Appreciate it.
y'all some more right now. Appreciate
I
it.
say, you well.
And we want Layla Love. You're not going to be shy. Tell who you are. And go ahead, Layla Love.
Okay, well, I would believe this. I'm Layla. A lot of y'all are familiar faces. Y'all probably know me through my mom, Miss Victoria Smalls. I'm a native of St. Helena Islands. I don't know.
You going to
She
school?
made
Where you
something.
going to school?
Okay.
Working with us.
Pound cake. I'm using my gap year just to come here and help out and re-immerse myself in my culture. And I will be in FAMU in August.
Thank you.
Okay. You want to say something?
My father and mother and sister all went to Davis. My father was a PhD in philosophy. And he came from a family of 11 with his house. So, his first one to graduate from high school. After his mother passed away.
Can you put it down? Mic to your mouth?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, I'll say real quick. My father, my mother, and sister are all educators. And my father, we grew up in really deep rural South. He had a family of 11. They grew up in a house half this size. Holes in the roof. You know, he didn't have electricity till 79. So anyway, but my father, first one to graduate from high school, went on to become head of police. What I would say with that AI, and I was an IT guy. I like computers better than people, so I didn't teach. But anyway, my concern is critical thinking. If you, that AI, I mean, I stay current even on every conversation. And that, you know, Siri, all those things, you ask questions, they give you answers. Are you thinking? No, you're getting an answer. And critical thinking that's our second biggest deficit in this country.
I agree.
We won't go into the other ones. Don't get me started on some of this stuff. You know where I am. And you know where I would go off.
No, I know. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I will agree with that. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Yes. No, I agree. I teach, and I've been teaching college for 25 years, and I've seen the decline of students' capability, unfortunately, to do critical thinking and to retain information and to process information, and it's not good. So, all right. I don't want to hold y'all. Other comments, questions? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I believe.
Yes, I know. Yep. Okay. Yes, I have a few that I just literally grabbed from my house, but I would be happy to sell. And if you don't get one and you want one, you can buy them. I mean, don't buy it on Amazon because they're evil. But I don't know. Is there a local black bookstore that they will order it for you? No. Books a Million. Books a Million has copy. And Penn Center? Okay. So, woman, which one did I read? I have to give one to the host, so I want to save. Bridget made me promise. I want to give one to the host here. So I give that one.
Bring Kim back again.
I have these two. That's all I have.
And so they
Yeah.
basically said that they would like to bring her and
Yeah, I'll come back.
set up the space and open it up on their people, and we'll bring copies of her book.
Yeah. That'd probably be better. I'll come back and bring some books. How about that? I just brought what I had. And I'm happy to. This one, you probably don't want that one, but I can ship it. I can ship that.
We have a assignments she's going around and you let them do. Yeah. So we'll, I can share with you your email address with them so that you can reach out to them.
Yeah. Thank you all so much. I really am honored, and I appreciate you spending your evening with me. It's a pleasure. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. Thank you.